Hey guys, Derek here with another video. So I finished collecting that set of games that I said I was collecting, and I figured I would do a video. I was trying to figure out how to do like a good format for showing it. So I think I'm just going to show a pickups video just to like run through all the games that I picked up, and then like I'm not going to show gameplay in this video, and I'm not really going to talk too much about each game, just kind of like a general overview. And then I think after that I'll go through like each console, like all the games on each console, and then I'll do like an in-depth talk about each game, what I liked about them, and then show gameplay that way. But anyways, starting this off, so the developer set that I was going for was WayForward, so why I'm calling this video WayForward Friday. And yeah, like I love the WayForward games because their 2D sprite work is always amazing. And like I've said before, I'm trying to make my own games, and I'm trying to learn how to do sprite work. And I think the sprite work that WayForward does is easy for me to try to like get practice trying to replicate. But anyways, first game up, it's going to be WCW Mayhem. So I saw this one on their website. Like they actually said that they had something to do with this one, but like I couldn't find their name anywhere in this game. So not 100% positive that they actually like developed this game, but they claim that they did. But this is pretty much just like a straight wrestling game for the Game Boy Color. And then the next two are going to be Sabrina Spooked and then Sabrina Zapped. And these are based off Sabrina the Teenage Witch, like the animated series. And like it's always funny to me how some games take off and some games don't. Like as you can see, the sprite work here pretty much looks exactly like the sprite work in Shantae. And I would be willing to say the gameplay is pretty similar, except Shantae has a little bit better like world design and like gameplay, and it's like a long game. But like Shantae is a super expensive game, and these games are like relatively unknown. But it's kind of weird. Anyways, these are like platformers, like straight platformers, and you and Salem go throughout each level, and yeah, you just use each character's abilities to gather items on each stage, and then you head for the stage exit. And then I had seen Radical Reggie talk about this game, and I was like, well, I was going to talk about it, but I guess he ruined the surprise. Anyways, Extreme Sports. This is another one where I'm kind of shocked because, like I just said, Shantae exploded in price, but like these games have remained relatively unknown. And again, the sprite work in this game looks pretty much like Shantae. And gameplay wise, there's like 5 different sports as you can see there, and then you play through a bunch of different courses that have to do with each sport, and you pick up like these directional blocks. And as long as you have at least one, you can perform a special move, and then that will give you points. And then the objective is to try to get as many points as you can by the end of the course, and then you get a bunch of like stuff that my thumb is covering up. But it's a really cool game, and shocked that it has not taken off. And then we have WWF Betrayal. I couldn't find this game complete in box, so I was always kind of bummed out about that. But literally, maybe a couple days ago, I found one finally complete in box, but I said, screw it. So that one's on its way to me, but I figured I'd just do the video anyways. But this is actually a side-scrolling beat 'em up, and it looks really cool. It stars all your favorite WWF characters, so I was like, yeah, I'm all about that. And then the other second greatest WayForward game that's out there is Windy Every Which Way. And this one, again, I couldn't find complete in box, and even if I could find it complete in box these days, it has exploded in price, which is kind of unfortunate. I had this game, like Amazon used to sell it brand new, and it was like $20. And I had it in my cart for the longest time. And then when I was finally going to go buy it, I found out that it was completely out of stock. And then that's when I found out the price had blown up on it. I was just like, man, that's what I get for waiting. So that's all the Game Boy Color games. And like, I don't have all the WayForward games. Like, WayForward games are very hit or miss. Some of them are very good. Some of them are very crappy. But I picked up the games that I thought had the best gameplay, or had like very good graphics, or a mix of the two, or I just thought they were interesting. And yeah, so keep an open mind when it comes to games, because this is a Barbie game, right? But it's a straight platformer, and it's actually pretty interesting, and the sprite work is pretty good. And like I said, I'm really looking to practice making sprites. So yeah, like this is called Barbie and the Magic Pegasus or something like that. And yeah, it's a platformer. Like none of these Barbie games, I got like three of them, and I'm going to show, but none of them have like really incredible combat or anything. But they do have interesting gameplay mechanics. Man. And then the other one that I have here is called Barbie, the Princess and the Pauper. This is another one that's a straight platformer. It's you and a cat or a series of cats. I don't remember. I think there's a bunch of cats actually. And then you use them to help you solve puzzles in a level, and then you try to make it to the end of the level. Like it's nothing crazy, but the sprite work was really good. Okay, and then we have here the Looney Tunes double pack. Let's see. So we have Dizzy Driving and Acme Antics. Dizzy Driving is the only one of these that I've played, and it's like a mix between Mario Kart and RC Pro-Am. It's actually pretty cool, and I like it a lot. And Acme Antics, I think it was just like an endless runner, and that didn't really, well, it's not endless, but it's like it pretty much kind of like that. Like you're in lanes and you're trying to avoid obstacles. Nothing really crazy about it. I didn't really like Wile E. Coyote or Roadrunner anyways, so I just haven't gotten around to trying it. Man. Okay. Then next up here we have Tak, the Great Juju Challenge. This is another platformer. This, like if you've played any of the Tak and Juju games, you know that these are platformers, but this one has the WayForward sprites in it, and I like it a lot. Yeah, there's nothing really crazy to say about it, just cool platformer. And then I'm going to show, man, like I'm cramped up in a corner here and my legs are starting to hurt, so I'm kind of like fidgeting around over here. But I'm going to show three games. So we have SpongeBob SquarePants Lights Camera Pants. Then we have SpongeBob SquarePants the movie. And we have SpongeBob SquarePants Creature from the Krusty Krab. All three of these are platformers of a kind of variety. Like they have slightly different mechanics to them, but more or less they're all essentially platformers. Very good gameplay in the SpongeBob movie game, the one that I'm holding right now. Like it's probably the best of the three. And then the other ones are just kind of interesting as far as like the sprites go, not so much the gameplay. But when you're collecting, you gotta just collect them all. All right, and then the Game Boy Advance, like honestly, has the most WayForward games. So I've got another entire stack of Game Boy Advance games to go. So next up, we have American Dragon Jake Long, Rise of the Hunt Clan, and this is a side-scrolling platformer. It's kind of like a side-scrolling platformer, side-scrolling beat-em-up. It's actually pretty cool. There is another game on the DS. I don't remember if it had the exact same name, but completely different game. That game is trash. I think WayForward developed that one too, but it is not a good game. And then we have Godzilla Domination. This is another very cool game. This is like an arena fighter with all of the Godzilla characters that you know and love. Like it has destructible environments, multi-level environments. The graphics in this are really great. Like the sprite work in this game are amazing. The attacks are really cool. Like the combat's very cool. Just like all around a very cool game. So definitely like look for this one if you're interested at all. And then Radical Reggie talked about this one too, and it's Rescue Heroes Billy Blazes. This is a Fisher-Price game, and it's based on like a cartoon, I think, like one of those really crappy CGI cartoons. But it's actually a really solid platformer. Like graphically, it looks very good. It kind of has elements of, I think, the Super Nintendo game's called The Fireman, where there's fires and you put them out with your hose, and you pick up different like abilities that firemen have, or not abilities that they have, but kind of like tools and things that they do on the job. And then there's also kind of like shmup levels where you're flying around in a helicopter and you're shooting like water bullets, putting out like fires everywhere. Like it's a very, very cool game for what it is. All right, and then we have the Scorpion King, the Sword of Osiris. This is another very, very cool side-scrolling beat 'em up or side-scrolling action game. It's based on a very crappy movie, unfortunately, but like WayForward actually does a pretty good job with licensed games. Like they would probably make the best licensed games, which is kind of mind-blowing. But this is a cheap game, like I said, very good if you're just looking for a very fun action game on a Game Boy Advance. Then we have X-Men the official game, another licensed movie or licensed game based on the movie. This is a very good game, very good side-scrolling beat 'em up. You swap characters on the fly and stuff, which is really cool. Like the mechanics actually work very well. The combat's fast and fluid, and it's a really fun game to play. And then we have Justice League Heroes: The Flash. This is another side-scrolling beat 'em up. Another very, very, very good side-scrolling beat 'em up. This one kind of plays like the old X-Men arcade game, if you remember that. So like you move side to side, but you can move like to and from in the scene as well. And like the Flash moves very fast, and like the combat in this game, super fast, super fun. 100% would suggest picking this game up. Okay, and then we have Sigma Star Saga, which I've talked about this game a number of times. This is like a mix between an adventure game and a shmup, and it pretty much plays exactly like the Guardian Legend, if you ever played that on the NES, which is one of my favorite games, except it has WayForward sprite work, and it's really amazing. Like the world building in this is really good. In the ship that you fly, like you can customize it, and there's like thousands of combinations. Like here it says 15,000 gun combinations. Like it's crazy. Like this game is a lot of fun. So highly suggest it. Okay, so from here we'll move on to the DS games. We're almost there. A lot less games to go now. So the first game up is going to be Adventure Time, Hey Ice King, Why'd You Steal Our Garbage? This game released on the 3DS as well, and like all of the WayForward Adventure Time games are based on other games. So like this one was based on Zelda 2, The Adventures of Link, and like there's an overworld that you walk around, and then when you go into the dungeons, they're like side-scrolling Metroidvania style like dungeons. It's actually a pretty cool game, I think, a lot better than Zelda 2. And then we have SpongeBob SquarePants, Creature from the Krusty Krab again. I just wanted to get this one and the Game Boy Advance version just to kind of compare them, but it's another platformer. And then it's got like DS specific stuff because of the dual screen setup. So it'd be kind of cool to see how they differ. We have Hotel Transylvania, another licensed game. This is based on either the TV show or the movie. I don't really know what it is because I never saw it. But it's a Metroidvania platformer. There's no real combat, like you stomp your enemies to death, which kind of sucks. But it's still like a pretty cool Metroidvania game. Here we have another Barbie game, Barbie and the 12 Dancing Princesses. This is another platformer. This one's pretty cool. Like there's not a real combat system like I was talking about with the other ones. But the gameplay mechanics are pretty cool. Like there's a level where, oh boy. There's a level where you have to use mirrors and like kind of get around the level like that. Like the mirrors will reveal hidden platforms, and like you use the platforms that you can see plus the mirrors to actually like navigate through the level. And that's kind of what I was talking about with interesting gameplay mechanics. Like you don't really see that too much, and I thought it was pretty cool. So yeah. And then we have Batman the Brave and the Bold. This is a side-scrolling kind of beat 'em up, but more so side-scrolling platformer. This game also released on the Wii. I think the Wii version is better, but this is still a really cool game to get if you have a DS and you want to play it. And then we have Contra 4, which plays like the Contra games, except it uses the dual screens on the DS to give you like a really tall game, and I think it's really cool. Like this is a difficult game to play, like most Contra games are, but graphically it's really cool, gameplay it's really cool, and they utilize the dual screens really well. And then we have Aliens Infestation. This is probably one of the more sought after DS games, and it just happens to be a WayForward game. Graphically, this game is very impressive, and it's probably one of the best Alien games, period, that I've played on home console. I still think the Capcom arcade game is still the best, like Alien vs Predator, but this is still a very cool game. And yeah, I got this one from Goodwill online actually. Like they had it listed, I think it was like $30, and all they said was that it was in used condition. So I was actually shocked to get this and find that it was sealed. So definitely cool. That game has shot up in price sealed. And then the last game for the DS that I'm going to show here is one that was completely caught me off guard. Like this game is an incredible game, and it can be bought right now for like $13, brand new. So highly suggest buying this game because I think it's going to pop. But that's going to be Thor, God of Thunder, another licensed game based on the Thor movies. But it's a side-scrolling beat-em-up that utilizes both screens. Like this game is insanely good. Like the bosses, all boss fights take up both screens. Sometimes they're like so large that they physically take up both screens like this, or they just have movesets that move them all around the screens. But like the combat's very satisfying. Like you can knock enemies into the upper screen, then fly up and then knock them back down to the ground. Then you have these like massive attacks that you can use. Like this game is so good. I cannot recommend it enough. And go watch some gameplay of it. And like I said, $13 brand new right now. So definitely jump on that one. Okay. And then we're going to get into the 3DS games. The 3DS games I don't think are all that great except for one, but we'll show them anyway. So the 3DS also got a version of Hotel Transylvania. I wanted to see what the difference between this and the DS version are, but so far they are exactly the same. So, all right, it's not going to focus. There we go. They're exactly the same game. So, yeah, I don't know. Whatever one you could find cheap if you actually wanted to get this game. And then we have a dual pack, but they only developed one of these games. That's going to be the second game, TMNT Danger of the Ooze. This is just, it's based on the new like CGI cartoon, not the Michael Bay movie. So it's kind of got like a really crappy art style to it, I think. And like I'm not a huge fan of WayForward's 3D style. I think their sprite style is so much better, but it's just kind of like a generic side-scrolling action game. Then we have Centipede Infestation, which is the same story. It's a 3D WayForward game. I think something got lost when they moved to 3D. Like the games just aren't interesting. The style kind of sucks. The color palette kind of sucks. Gameplay kind of sucks. Yeah, it's just kind of a letdown because coming off Alien Infestation, I thought this was going to be something completely different, but not so much. Okay, and then we have Adventure Time, Hey Ice King, Why'd You Steal Our Garbage? On the 3DS, we have Adventure Time, Explore the Dungeon Because I Don't Know. This game, like I said, all these Adventure Time games are based on other games. This one's based off of Gauntlet. I used to love the Gauntlet games on the NES. This one's kind of a little more difficult to play than the Gauntlet games. I kind of wish they hadn't gone with Gauntlet for that one. And then Adventure Time, Secret of the Nameless Kingdom. This one's based on like Link's Awakening, Link to the Past. It's like the 16-bit top-down Zelda games. This is actually a really fun game, except the hitboxes are so small. So like all your hits have to be super precise, which sucks. Because you'll like swing at an enemy and swear to God you hit him, but the hit won't register. And yeah, it just kind of sucks. Okay, and then we have regular show, Mordecai and Rigby in 8-Bit Land. This is another game that's gotten cheaper over time. And this game is based on like it's kind of like Mario 3 or like Super Mario World, especially like how you get from level to level and kind of the level designs, but it's based on the regular show. This one's actually a really cool game too. A lot better than the Adventure Time games, I think. And then, of course, we have Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. This is a very, very, very good game. I think like all the Shantae games are very good. And yeah, this one has started rising in price lately. And yeah, I think it's about to get hit with the Shantae tax. But this is a good game. The ones on the PS4, besides like the limited run games and the Vita and the Wii U, like I think Half Genie Hero is the one I'm talking about. It's super cheap. So if you just want to try out an Adventure Time game, this one or Half Genie Hero, I think would be the way to go. And then the last game that I have here is Silent Hill Book of Memories. This is like an isometric Silent Hill game. And this is actually a very good 3D game from WayForward. Like I was actually shocked. And yeah, this is another very cheap game too. So yeah, that'll do it. That's it's all my WayForward games. So like I said, I didn't want to do gameplay in this one because there's a lot of games to go through, as you can see, like 20 minutes in. So I'll just break them up by console and then we'll show gameplay that way. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you're having a great week. And that will bring WayForward Friday to an end, at least for now. And then next week, I'll probably try to put out one of the console specific videos. But anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Take it easy and have a great day. Later.